Hey everyone, today we're going to make country bread. I have 2 cups of whole wheat flour, then I have 2 cups of just all-purpose flour, and you are going to want to make sure that you do have some extra all-purpose flour just so when you're kneading the dough. Then I've got 1 1/4 cups of water, and when it gets closer we're going to make sure that we heat that up so it's nice and warm. Then we've got another 1/3 cup of water, and this will actually be for our yeast, so we're going to want that warm as well. Typically you're going to want it between about 105 degrees and 115 degrees. Then I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Then you're going to want 1 envelope of dry yeast. You're going to need to preheat your oven to 425 degrees, and you can either use a baking stone or you can just use a regular cookie sheet. The first thing you're going to want to do is I've warmed up my 1/3 cup water. Then we're just going to add in our yeast. You're just going to mix this together a little bit. And then you're just going to let it sit for typically about 5 to 7 minutes. What you want is your yeast to start to bubble a little bit. Once you can start to see the yeast bubbling up to the top, then what you're going to do is I usually just add in most of my whole wheat flour, my salt, and my sugar. And then you start to mix this together. And then you can just add in the rest of your flour. Now that I've got that mixed in, all we're going to do is add in the rest of our water. And then beat this until it's all mixed together. Once you have that mixed, you want to make sure that your surface is clean and then it's lightly floured. And then one thing I do is I'll put a little flour in there just to help get it out of the bowl a little bit easier since it's still a little tacky. I'm just going to take that out. Put a little bit of flour on top. And then you're just going to knead this. You may want to keep adding a little bit of flour on top and make sure that your surface underneath is floured. And you're going to keep kneading this for about 5 minutes or so, and it'll be nice and smooth and elasticy when you're done. Alright, I've got a large bowl, and this is greased. So once it's nice and smooth, all you're going to do is you're going to set that in the bottom. Then you want to take some saran wrap, cover up your bowl, and then you can just take any type of cloth that you have. And what I usually do is I just drizzle a little bit of water on it, put it in the microwave for about 1 minute so it's nice and warm. And then you want to cover it with that. And then you want your dough to at least double up to triple. Alright, my dough has over doubled on the way to tripling, so all you're going to do is I've got a little bit of flour on my hands and you're just going to punch this down. And then you're just going to take it out of your bowl and just sprinkle a little extra flour on top. And then all you're going to do is you're going to knead this for about a minute or 2. You just want to make sure you get out all of the extra air bubbles that are in it. Then all you'll do is you'll put it back into your greased bowl. You're going to cover it back up again, and then you just want it to double this time. Alright, it has about doubled once again. And just kind of punch it down a little bit. Take it out, put it on just a lightly floured surface, knead it just a little bit. And I like to just do one large loaf. If you want, you can split it into two. And then all you're going to do is, I've got a greased baking stone here, and I usually put this on the stove just to get it a little bit warm. You do not want it to be cold. And then all you're going to do is you're going to cover this and let it double again. If you want, you can do a couple lines on top, just like that. So we're going to let it double one more time before we bake it. Alright, this has doubled now, and all you're going to want to do is put this into your oven at 425 degrees for 30 minutes. Then you're going to drop it down to 375 degrees. If you have just one loaf, you'll want to do it for an extra 10 to 15 minutes. If you've separated it into two different loaves, then you'll probably want to do it for about 5 to 10 minutes. And the top will be a nice golden brown. Alright, I just took the bread out of the oven, and as you can see, it's a nice golden brown. If you want, when you flick it with your finger, it'll make like a hollow sound. And then you'll know that it's done. One way to serve it is when it comes straight out of the oven. It's great to serve it warm. Otherwise, if you're not going to eat it right away, just let it cool on a rack. So, hope you enjoy.